If you are new here, my name is Yoni, and I'm a life coach, helping people to remain calm in the storms of life. You know, we're here to tell stories, so I'm going to start with why I do this. Why do I even meditate? Well, I'm 41 years old. I was a therapist for 15 years. My mom was a yoga teacher when I was younger, and I did not want to meditate. For 37 years, I did not want to meditate at all. I thought it was a waste of time. I thought time was money, and it wasn't even funny. But I really did think that way, and I would never play in a way of meditation. Forget it. My mom meditated, saw her meditate. Great, good for her. For me, meditation was not part of my journey. However, at 37 years old, after I got divorced at 32, from 32 to 37 years old, I went down a road of having a good time. Had a really good time. As many of the musicians say, that's wearing a Nashville guitar shirt right now. Wanted to experience life, wanted to get out there and really experience what life had to offer me. So I went out there to experience what life had to, give to me. Clubs, parties, Miami to New York, back and forth from COVID up until about a year ago, back and forth, back and forth. But there was a 2-year period, especially when I was going really back and forth to Miami in that zone. And man, did I feel alone, surrounded by so many people, so social, but I was so alone in here. But I would always occupy myself with things, with people, fun times. Couldn't slow down, running around, hustling, killing it out there. I was one of those therapists. I was a therapist for 15 years. During that time, I was one of the first therapists to really work completely over the phone. Over the phone, FaceTime, WhatsApp, Zoom. I was doing all these things. And it was awesome because I was able to go back and forth to Miami and work literally on the beach. Work with clients on the beach, on the phone, sometimes even FaceTime because you could change the background and all kinds of things. And I made it work, and it was an amazing journey. But during that time, I never felt more alone. But I didn't know what to do. My mind was constantly racing. I'd constantly fill it up with other things. I'd fill it up with parties, women, drugs, whatever I could get my hands on. What a journey it was. During that time, there was a lot of pain, emotional pain. But I hid it well. When you have a whole group of people, you always have a woman on your arms, And I had that situation, I had women, I had all the stuff that you could ever imagine. And even with all that stuff, I just knew something was missing for myself. And then came the physical pain. It was happening to me. I was having some physical pain going to the bathroom. I was having some pain going to the bathroom. Eventually realized it was hemorrhoids. But it wasn't so bad, I'd always brush it off. It wasn't so bad. No big deal. And it got worse and worse over time. Then came blood. Over and over again. I ignored it. Still doing what I was doing, but it was now affecting my life because I had to tell certain people that I was involved with, this relationships I was in, and got uncomfortable, and everyone's telling me what to do. I ended up telling my family. I told my dad is telling me what to do, go to the doctor, this, that. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor says, they tell you what to do, take some fiber, it's all going to be good, take some fiber. That didn't work. Then they tell you to get with this thing called rubber bands. So you get the rubber bands, and that didn't work. And you try all the things and nothing seems to be working, but you're still in this such serious pain that it's hard to talk about with people. So you keep it quiet, you don't talk about it, and things start to get worse. Now there are 4 stages of hemorrhoids, and I was significantly getting worse, passing to the stage 3 for a significant period of time. And if you know, stage 4 is the point where you have to basically get surgery. So I'm at stage 3 now. It's really happening over and over again so often, so frequently, that I knew something was going to give. But that was happening. On the other side of my life, I was spinning in my head, trying to still fulfill all my desires, do all my things I wanted to do in my possible in life, including also fun things such as skydiving. Now, having said all those fun things, during that time, my mind was spinning because at some point, the more you start collecting, the more you realize it's not doing what you thought it was going to do for you. You thought it was going to put you in this place of grace, and instead you have a different taste in your mouth when you're in that place. So I didn't know, but at that time I was still on my journey, and at 37 years old I was supposed to go to a festival in Ocean City, Maryland. Dave Matthews was headlining, and there was a hurricane that year, and it got canceled. So my 2 friends decided not to obviously go there. We're not going to go there. But instead, we decided to make a trip to Connecticut, actually. And it was a place that was called the Lake House. And this lake house, we get there, it's a studio apartment. There's no running water in this place. It's beautiful, right facing the water, huge window with, you can see the lake right like a few feet away from like the back window. But there's no running water. And how I grew up, I'm not staying in that place. I was not a camper type of person back then. I'm like, no, I am not staying in this place. And my friends basically said, stay, or you're the driver. So if you leave, you're screwing us over. Like, stay. So I stayed. Needless to say, changed my life. We were in the middle of nature. We took psychedelics. And for the first time, I saw nature alive. Now, I didn't think I was ever going to meditate because of that experience. But it was the first time I saw nature in a different way. I saw nature as being the same as me. It was the first time I saw water, trees, animals as literally being the same as me. Saw in that experience. We often dismiss experiences because of the nature at which we experience them. But at that moment in time, it didn't matter that I was taking the psychedelics. It mattered to me that I noticed it for the first time. I never noticed nature before, and that was the first thing. So I'm in this place, and I'm in this, seeing nature, and of course, I wanted to do mushrooms again, and I did. Then the next time I did mushrooms again, so my friend was meditating, and I was trying to get his attention, and he wouldn't listen to me. And so I lied down and I meditated for the first time in my life. And when it was over, I asked him, who is that voice in that meditation? He said, Ram Dass. I've been telling you about him. I said, yeah, he told me about Ram Dass. He said, yes, Ram Dass. And he gave me this book, Be Here Now. And he said, here you go. About a week later, he handed me this book. And he said, read this book. I looked at the book and I knew right then and there, I knew this book would change my life, and went on a meditation journey. Now I'm on this meditation journey. I feel my life, something's going to change in my life. I feel it very strongly as I'm meditating, as I'm reading Ram Dass, as I'm listening to every single Ram Dass video I could find on YouTube. I'm literally listening to him every single day. And then finally, me and my friend, one night, we were supposed to go to this club in the city. And he said, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's take mushrooms. Let's stay, me and you just take mushrooms. We'll set up shop. He had a rooftop situation. So let's set up the roof, put some plants out there, put some music out there. We're going to chill outside, and okay. This whole setup, food, everything. It was 3 full handfuls of mushrooms. If you count you put in your palm of your hand, it was like full 3 of them. And we each took that amount. And about a half an hour in, my friend looks at me and he thinks like I'm about to die. And he's like, you good? I'm like, no, I'm not good. He's like, what's wrong? I'm like, to go to the bathroom. It's like, so go to the bathroom, fool, like just go. And I'm like, I can't, you don't understand, it's gonna change my life. And of course I had hemorrhoids, so he knew that. I told him, he was my best friends, and I went to the restroom, and needless to say, I gave birth. It was the most painful experience of my life. But the only thing is, when you give birth, you gotta cut the umbilical cord. In this case, there's no umbilical cord, so it's stuck. And you're like in this situation where there's so much pain. I can't even get a description for you guys, I'll leave it alone for now, but to understand the kind of pain I was in. So he said, should we call an ambulance? I said, no, do not call an ambulance, I'm good. I waited the whole night, nothing for me to want to do. It was the weekend, I did not want to go to the emergency room, I'm in severe pain. The next morning, my friend's an angel. He went to CVS, so like the first second it was open, he bought me like tons of like medications and ointments and everything you could possibly find, including a baby pool, set up a baby pool. Filled it up with cold water, and so I was able to sit there for a while until eventually I realized I was in so much pain. I'm like, I have to go to the emergency room. I called my mom, and anyway, end up at the emergency room. They couldn't do the surgery over the weekend, of course, which I knew. I was in crazy pain. They give you meds. The meds didn't help, and then I had to wait till after the weekend to see a doctor. Finally came around afterwards. I went to see the doctor. Doctor says, we can't get you in until Friday. It's Monday. I'm like, are you out of your mind? Are you out of your freaking mind? I might be cursing at the doctor at this point. I'm like, do you see what's happening? I can't use the restroom. I can't eat. I can't sit. I can't breathe. I'm like, I had a meditation practice of like a little bit now. I have a little bit under my belt. So I'm like practicing the meditation breaths or whatever, but I'm, in so much pain. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? So doctor said, actually, we have an appointment tomorrow. I said, great, put me in for tomorrow. The next day comes, I get the surgery, and it was the greatest surgery, except when you wake up from that surgery, you're in the craziest amounts of pain. And at that moment, I remember yelling. This first second I woke up, felt like a sword. Like I screamed on the top of my lungs, and my mom's like, we gotta go. And I'm like, Mom, I needed to breathe for a minute. Put on this song, and I put on I think it was Losing My Religion by R.E.M. And then there's a guy, Eitan Katz, that has a song called The Mancha. It's a Hebrew song. Anyway, sang through it. I get outside, my mom's like, turn on the car, taking forever, and I'm like, so much pain. I go to the street corner, I'm singing hallelujah to the heavens. I swear to you, I'm singing hallelujah. My mom thinks I'm the craziest person right now. She's like, what is wrong with you? Like, get in the car before anyone sees you, you know? Okay. But I'm like, I'm so grateful, but I'm in so much pain. Like, I feel this crazy amounts of pain right now going on because you're in recovery for like 5 weeks where you're in this crazy pain. I felt such gratitude that like I'm singing to the heavens hallelujah. So here we are, and I'm in recovery for 5 weeks, and needless to say, meditation got me through that. That was a pretty painful journey physically for me at that time. I've never been better in my life ever since then. I can honestly say that to you guys, both physically, emotionally, and spiritually. But because it's not in spite of that, it's because of that. Like, that was, I needed to go through that. I knew that it was going to come to a head at some point, and that's how it happened. So moment to moment as we go in this journey. So my name is Yoni. I'm a life coach helping people to remain calm in the storms of life.